And as Anton mentioned, we are now going to focus on what's been happening to the farming areas this past weekend. It's areas such as the Cape Winelands, Cedarburg, Citrusdal, etc., etc. Those are among the towns and districts severely impacted by the flooding from a number of cold fronts that have hit. So to get us a sense of the agricultural damage and what's needed now, I'm joined by Jannie Strydom, CEO of Agri Western Cape. Jannie, thank you so much for joining us. So Anton was telling us about the sort of humanitarian issues, the people that are without their homes now, and how they're looking after them. But this also impacted a great deal of farming area. And I wonder if you could, because we're hearing we're hearing Cedarburg and Citrusdal and Cape Winelands and Overberg and this and that. Could you give us a sense of what areas we're talking about and the impacts on the farming community?
Yeah, good evening, Sally, and good evening to the viewers. No, you're absolutely right. It's the Winelands, and more specifically the Stellenbosch area, Franshoek, Paarl, Wellington area, and then up to Citrusdal itself. Probably the town that was hit the hardest and most damage at this stage. And then Vredendal, and then also in the Cedarburg area as well. So, yeah. And it's all along the river, especially the Berg River as well, and where we saw a lot of or got feedback from farmers that there's a lot of damage in terms of infrastructure, pumps, irrigation systems, and so forth. So those also the Breda Valley, Rawsonville area, Worcester area, severely hit by these severe rainfall. So. Yeah, quite a challenge for us at this stage, but fortunately, like MEC Bredel also referred to, the Joint Operating Centre, fully functional, and we've been meeting since last Wednesday on a daily basis with all the relevant stakeholders and departments. And I must commend him in terms of what we've achieved during this time in containing and managing this crisis.
Citrusdal and also Vredendal, I think, were completely cut off for a period. Are both those towns now fully accessible?
No, not Citrusdal yet. The main entrance from the N7 is still, won't be accessible in the near future. That road needs to be repaired, and the bridge as well. Although once the water levels decline, and like we've heard, for the next 7-8 days, no rain is forecast, and hopefully we can use the low water bridges that is available through the farms. But Citrusdal, is still a huge headache for us and a concern. Vredendal also, but there's at least access to Vredendal, the town itself, currently.
So talk to me about the impact on crops, and this is where I really, I know that you get summer crops and winter crops, but I honestly don't know what's being picked from the trees right now, what's still growing. So just give us an idea of how this is going to interfere with crops and with the production of food from those areas, and what crops are we talking about?
Yeah, for now we're in our peak season of citrus harvesting, so that's the crop that's impacted mostly at this stage, and we run about close to 50% of the harvest, so there's still a lot of fruit to be harvested, and it's difficult to access the orchards given the amount of rain we receive. So access to the orchards, access to the farms, and then also to your packing and cooling facilities. So that makes it really difficult, and we all know we've got a perishable product in terms of vegetables as well, potatoes. So that is currently the farmers' major challenge, is to get that infrastructure up and running again, to have access at least, and then we need to wait for the soil to dry so that they can get into the orchards and harvest. Unfortunately, you only have a window of time slot, a certain window of opportunity to harvest, and that is critical. So hopefully this 7 to 8 days will allow us that access. And
we do know about our citrus crops are fantastic for export. We export so many lemons and oranges and grapefruit. This problem now with the flooding and the fact that you've only harvested half of what you need to take off the trees, could this impact our exports?
I think at this stage, and I don't want to talk on behalf of the commodity organisation, they'll probably have better information, but I think we're still quite all right at this stage, but then we need to get into those orchards and do the harvesting. South Africa, we know, is the second largest exporter of citrus in the world, so and we've got quality produce, and especially to the America or to the United States. And yeah, we need to, the province as a whole, we export 55% of all primary agricultural produce from the Western Cape. So it's not only citrus, but currently citrus is the main commodity. But it's important for our province and our economy to maintain our export levels.
Yeah, it absolutely is. One final quick question. How soon will you be able to repair things? I know it's a matter of the orchards drying out, but how long have you actually got to make sure that the citrus harvest is saved?
No, from my point of view, I think if we have the sunshine and better weather this next week, surely the farmers will be able to continue with the harvest process. What the infrastructure is concerned, yeah, that's going to take a while, I believe. We've got some serious damages there. Our Department of Agriculture and our disaster management team is currently busy assessing the damage. And then, yeah, then they'll decide on application of a disaster to be declared, the province as a whole. So, and hopefully then we can access funds as soon as possible, because that's going to be the huge challenge and the requirement to repair all these damaged infrastructure, because the roads are terribly damaged at this stage.
So massive damage. And is it correct that you've estimated so far the damage is amounting probably to around R1 billion?
Yeah, I want to confirm what Minister Bedell said. It's a thumbs up. I had a discussion with our MEC of Agriculture this morning, and yeah, that is really just a thumbs up. But given the feedback that we get, or that we got over the past couple of days, and the footage that we saw and places that we visited, I think it's quite, it could be close to that, if not more.
Yeah, that is really hectic. And thank you so much, Jannie Strydom, Agri Western Cape CEO. So they are going to hopefully get a provincial state of disaster declared, because there is extensive repairs to roads and bridges required, and a race against time to get the rest of the citrus harvest in. So big focus on that area. It's so important for our export market.